Hi, and welcome to now. Excuse me. Hi, welcome again. Welcome to Maintain Monday, and this is the Young and Bold segment. Now, today we are going to discuss the topic of women's wellness and mental health. Her mental health, her story. Now, because this is still Women's Month, we wanted to discuss the importance of health and wellness. I know there are a lot of women out there that have made history, and this is when we should acknowledge and celebrate them. But we wanted to switch gears and just talk about the importance of your health and wellness and just keeping a positive mental state of mind on in your daily life. Now, I'm sorry I forgot to introduce myself. I am Crystal and I have my co-host with me today.
My name's Destiny Bell. Welcome, guys. And we have a short video that may help you understand the importance of mental and health wellness checks. And after this, we'll introduce our guest for today.
We women are often the primary caretakers of our family, many working outside the home as well as making sure the meals get cooked, laundry gets washed, and homework gets done. Our days seem like an endless list of things to do. As a result, doctors say too many women are not taking good enough care of themselves. They say we all need some me time, even if it means things fall by the wayside.
You're in it, pure cardio.
A lot of people might think Tina Blair is insane for getting up to do this high-intensity cardio workout at 5 a.m.
This is fun.
Does exercising make you a better mother and a better teacher and a better wife?
Absolutely.
Tina is like a lot of women.
Because the whole thing in itself is a complete sentence.
She works full-time and cares for her husband and 3 children. But unlike a lot of women, she regularly makes time for herself, especially when it comes to exercising.
You know, as a teacher, you're on your feet all day. You're constantly almost like putting out fires all day long. When I'm not on that routine, I feel it. I feel lethargic and I don't feel like I'm at my best. So when I stay in shape, you know, I have a tendency just to have great amounts of energy.
Susan McLeod is a cardiac nurse and oversees the wellness prevention program at Kettering Health Network. She says she sees too many overworked, overstressed, sick women taking too much care of others and not taking enough care of themselves. She says every woman needs to create a self-care buffer zone.
And that's living life with intention and attention.
And at the top of the list, exercise and eating right, both crucial for good mental and physical health. You've heard it 1,000 times, eat lots of fruits and vegetables. But these power foods are packed with vital nutrients.
For instance, dark-colored berries like blueberries and raspberries contain potent antioxidants, which destroy free radicals, which damage our cells. Consequently, these fruits help slow down the aging process and help us to fight off cancer.
The CDC recommends exercising at least 2.5 hours a week. And sleep is important as well, 7 to 9 hours a night. McLeod says women need to take some time every day for themselves, doing something they enjoy, whether it's reading a good book, listening to music, meditating, or simply getting outdoors and spending time with nature. Sunshine is a natural antidepressant. It also helps produce melatonin, which helps us sleep better and has been shown to fight cancer.
We women need our women friends, and you can help reduce stress by socializing regularly with good friends and relatives. Cheers!
This helps create intimacy in your life and takes your mind off chores and other responsibilities you might otherwise worry about. Other tips? Take a daily break from technology, avoid people who stress you out, and learn how to say no. Taking on more than you can handle is a surefire recipe for stress. And McLeod stresses every woman should see their doctor once a year and get 5 life-saving screenings: cholesterol, blood sugar, and blood pressure, known as the silent killer. And she says you should have an annual breast and pelvic exam. She says knowing your family history is crucial.
Genetics loads the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger.
Both McLeod and Tina say it's all about making the time.
Your kids need you to be healthy, your husband needs you to be healthy, your parents need you to be healthy.
Time that allows you to feel better about yourself, mentally, physically, and emotionally.
Okay, great. That video was great. I actually chose that video because it fits well with the topic that we have for today. Now, we actually are going to discuss that video, but I wanted to bring our guest on first because she's a expert in this area. She have her license. So I'm going to read a quick short bio. And the guest we have today, Latoya Stewart, she is a licensed clinical social worker with a background in psychotherapy. She provides clinical wellness coaching services to adults through her organization. This goes out to you. She believes that everyone is deserving and should have access to clinically based mental health and wellness support. She is aware that many are deferred from going to therapy due to the stigma that is attached to its services. Clinical wellness coaching services are grounded in living and being intentional. All information is grounded in therapy and mindfulness practices. Latoya specializes in supporting her clients to strive to their highest future self. Clients are supported with developing a individualized coping skills toolbox that grows with them as they grow through utilization of mindfulness-based practices. So let's welcome Latoya Stewart to the show.
Hey guys, how
Hi.
you doing?
Hi.
Good.
How are you today?
I am good. I am good. I have my coffee.
Okay, that's always good. Now, before we get into discussing the video, can you give us a little more background of yourself?
Yes, so I am a licensed clinical social worker. I went to Morgan State University. It's a HBCU, two-time graduate, and I pursued social work. So my degree is a MSW, bachelor's, and also graduate degree. My background is in psychotherapy, but in order to be a social worker, you kind of engage with different types of people. And so my background is in child welfare. It's in clinically based, it's in court systems, it's in advocacy. So I'm well diverse in the different fields of social work practice. And I use all of that to service my clients.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So let's just discuss that video really quick. Okay. Now, in the video, they were talking about self-care, and towards the end, the lady said, "We have friends, so spend your time with friends to take the stress off of your daily life." Can you elaborate or explain your thoughts and how you felt about that video?
Well, the video was amazing. They said so many tidbits that you can just take away and then just use for the rest of your life and be good if you just take heed to what she was saying. But connecting with friends, yes, I would definitely say that's a tool that we should access to, especially as we get older. I find that when we're younger, we tend to be very social, very engaged with those around us. But as we get older, as women, we just kind of fall into womanhood, and whether that's being connected with our significant other, or that's child rearing, or that's, hyper focused on our career, or, how women just believe that they should be present for everybody and do everything for everybody. And then we kind of lose ourselves in it. And so I appreciated their response and their suggestions of staying connected, not losing your individuality, and really finding yourself in the world that can be very hectic and crazy.
Yeah.
Now,
sorry. Go ahead, Destiny. Sorry.
In the video, the doctor said genetics loads the gun and lifestyle pulls the trigger.
Yes, girl. I was like,
history. I was like, when I watched that last night, I quoted it and put it on my Instagram because that is so true. And I feel like that goes with your blood pressure and that type of stuff, but also your mental health. So can you explain that so people can understand?
Yes, I think that historically, women, we cook and we provide supports and services and nutrition to our but we might lose. We're not actively paying attention to what our specific body needs. And so I think that that's a tool that everyone needs to connect with. What is your body saying? You know, what is your body saying that you need? And then when you get that information, what are you going to do with it? You know, so do you have iron deficiency? You know, are you eating too much sugar? What's going on? And then once you have that information, how are you feeding yourself to stay healthy? And you need to keep that in mind, because that's how you strive to be your highest self as well. We're holistic, and we need to be very mindful. It's not just physical. It's mental, it's emotional, it's social. There's so many different parts of us, and for us to work the way that we should and really serve and be who our higher power says we are, who we should be, we need to connect with all of those different pieces of ourselves.
That's really good. I like that. And I totally agree. And I feel like now women need to hear that, because a lot of females, they, like you said, they take care of family and not necessarily do what they supposed to do for themselves, because they worried about the household being okay, and, you know, catering, not necessarily catering to the husband, but, you know, catering to their significant other, well, taking care of, you know, basic household needs and stuff like that. But I totally agree. And that's why I chose that video, because I say it fits. And that's what people need to, well, females need to hear today.
And I agree with what you just said, because I feel like a lot of women, they end up being the caretaker for the whole house, like the kids, cooking and cleaning. But I feel like also we're in 2021. Why is it all on the women still? Shouldn't we let go of some of those old habits? It's time to evolve. That's just what I think, you know?
Yeah, if I can just speak to that, I am married, so I do completely get it. I find that historically, you know, women take on that role, but just as a reminder, you know, all relationships are different. We all have the strengths, and we all have areas that we need some support in. So choosing a partner where you all can grow together, and it's okay if you don't have specific gender roles tied to what historically what has been connected to the woman, or historically what's been connected to the man. Do what works for you all, you know, what works for your life. And then you'll find that you'll learn as you go along, and not always putting one particular role on one person. You know, sometimes we fall short. We have a lot going on. Our plates get full, and sometimes they get empty. So being okay with supporting your partner as well when you see they need an additional push or support in a specific area. So we're a team, and that's what the video was speaking to as well. Socially, I think that the people that you're connected to, they're your team as well, and you need to be okay with connecting with people who encourage your strengths and push you and see you for your most authentic self.
I totally agree. Now, let's get into, well, we already got into the conversation based on the video, but I want to pick your brain a little bit with what's going on, you know, today and women's health and stuff like that. So first, can you tell us what inspired you? What is your backstory? What inspired you to want to do social work and get into the whole mental wellness career?
Well, you know, being young, I think we don't have all the pieces. We don't know it all, even though we think we know it all. So it started off as being just, I wanted to help people. And, you know, I was trying to see what field best fit that. Also, I had a family member who is a social worker, and I thought, well, great, that's a great place to start. But as I entered into the field and you really start taking those classes, you know, it has to be a lot more than just helping people, because you need something to fuel you. And part of one of the ethics that's associated with social work practice is do no harm. And so connecting with do no harm means that, to me, it meant that I really needed to be able to do my own work, right? And so, because when you're connected with clients, your stuff gets thrown at you. You know what I mean? It's back to you, and your clients are able to see you. You know, you can put on a face all you want to, but they can really see and feel you. And I really wanted to help. In order for me to really help people, I needed for them to be able to feel that I'm actively on this journey, this wellness journey, just like you are. I have a skill set that I apply to my life every day. I'm not perfect. And I want the same for you. So let's connect. Let me encourage you. Let me, let's build a rapport. Let me utilize my skill set to help you to be the best version of yourself.
Now, I know that a lot of people, like college students, I'm a college student myself, I'm a sophomore, and I feel that most of my friends don't even know what they want to do in their life. So, which is fine, because we're in college, it's time to find yourself. But when did you ever feel that when you began your career, this wasn't for you? Because I feel like everyone has this idea of what life is going to bring them, and it steers you in a different direction sometimes. So,
girl, yes. So just a reminder that life moving forward is not linear, because we have this idea, especially as we enter into college, right? And we're in it and we're pursuing, and we, finish our freshman year and we go to sophomore year, and we just think it's a straight shot. And it's not, it's really not. And you have to be okay with you utilizing some skills such as positive self-talk, being able to connect back with when those negative interjections interject into your head, and be able to confront those thoughts in a way that's healthy, and give yourself permission to do that. You also have to be very open to changing and shifting as you need to. Be okay with taking 5 to 10 steps back. Get yourself together to learn whatever lesson that you were supposed to learn, so you can launch forward. It doesn't feel good. In college, it's a struggle. You have to figure out what works best for you. I know that 4 classes might work for me. 4 classes might have been too much for me sometimes. So I might need to stretch it out to the summer and the winter mini semester. I have to figure this out. And then some people had 10 classes and they took a dually major. I can't. Okay, I can't. In this season of my life, I may not be able to do that. And so being okay with not comparing yourself, connecting yourself with people who are striving just as you are, so you can feed off of them when you need to, but be completely okay with with following your road the way that you should follow your road, and be connected to your intuitive self, because that's, and that's challenging. Because you have to be still, and the message doesn't come right away. Sometimes you got to be still for a while, and you get piece by piece, and you just listen and you trust, and you find your way through that.
Now, I want to comment on that. Like what y'all was saying, I agree with you completely, Toya. And you know how now, well, not even now, but like when you were younger, you had set in your mind, all right, I'm going to have my first kid by the time I'm 25, I'm free, before I'm 30 and stuff like that. So it's
I'm graduate on time.
Like,
girl, I didn't graduate on time, just to say that. 5 years,
and
okay?
See, that's the thing that a lot of women, struggle with, because they are stuck on that timeline. But what you said, Toya, you have to really just, take life as it goes, and not necessarily be so strict, or because you see somebody, you can be 30 and you see somebody that's 25, successful in their career, already got the kids and married, and you 30 and still single, and so forth and so forth. But you need to, like you said, take a step back and realize that your life and it's not on a timeline or based on anybody else's life. So I think a lot of females need to realize that. And I feel like in order for them to realize that, they need to not necessarily focus on, that specific timeline. But I agree. This
don't focus on the media. I think a lot of our problems, we focus on the media, or sometimes your friends can get in your ear. because everyone has their
Yeah.
own different timeline, or like, girl, you need to get out there. You're in college. You need to do this. You need to be in a relationship by now. And everyone's timing is different. And then you have to listen. You have to be careful with who you're listening to. Because if your friends comparing themselves to a model on Instagram and their lifestyle, and you're just a regular college student trying to make it through school, you can't always listen to someone's perspective because it's going to be different from yours.
Yeah, and you have to be okay with allowing them to follow their own road. You know, it's completely okay to connect with different people, and that is their trajectory. And they may shift, they may take some steps back, you know, too. And you're figuring out what works best for you, and that's okay. And we learn from each other. Like, we learn from each other. So just being open to that. And I totally agree with you all. So just learning how to be happy for other people, like really genuinely
Definitely
happy for other people and where they are in their life, because, you know, next year, the end of this year, a couple months from now, you may be in a totally different space. Right. And you may now be the one who is, you know, having this amazing life and have all these great things going on. And then they're looking like, wow, how did you do that? That's just how life works. But we're here to pull and push and tug on each other and learn from each other and just be authentically happy for one another, because we are all trying to figure it out.
right.
It ain't easy.
So
I agree.
I know that you are an educated woman from Morgan State, but I know that through time, life has taught you as well. So what do you think are some tips that you would have given your college self?
Girl, I think I was way too hard on myself. You know, I think that I was trying to figure a lot out, you know, with little to no resources. I held on to a lot of stuff. I think the biggest lesson I learned at that time in my life that I still apply is that I need consistency, you know, and I was embracing that. I was allowing a lot of things to happen in my life that didn't connect with who I was or who I wanted to be. And there was some dark times there, you know, there was some low moods there, even though I was, you know, I've always been one to push forward. You know, I'm still in school, I'm still working, but if I come home, I'm in the bed, clothes on, lights off, room looking a mess, you know, Crystal knows, just keep moving forward. That was always me, but I didn't want to be the one that always moved forward. You know what I mean? I wanted to be in a healthy space. And so being still and being able to connect with my highest, where did I see myself? What did I want for myself? What traits does that person have, that future self have? What's working right now? What's not working? You know, and being okay, losing some of that weight, you know, rolling my shoulders back. That's that right there. You immediately start to feel some release, you know, just allowing myself to embrace who I saw myself as and who I didn't want to be, and forgiving myself and encouraging myself and being okay with taking some time for myself to get myself together and not caring who was mad at me, you know, because I can't live for you and me. I got to live for me, you know, and relationships are important to me. So how do I have healthy relationships in my life? What can I let go? You know, do those relationships matter to me? If they do, then maybe I need to let some stuff go, because they're not perfect either, you know? And so I'm saying a lot, but, you know, yeah, it was in the stillness.
And I agree, like, relationship is an important part, and that also plays a part within your wellness as well and your mental state of mind, because you don't want to be in a relationship, not necessarily like a boyfriend, girlfriend, or a significant other relationship, but even your family relationship, your sister, brother, uncle, cousin, aunt, or whoever. You don't want to have that negativity in any type of relationship, because that can take away from the wellness and the things that you need as a woman to, you know, be able to be yourself and just like having that peace of mind. Like, that is what really is important, having that peace of mind.
Mm-hmm. You know what I realized? I realized that you have to be okay with people being themselves, though. You know, it's not my job to change you. I mean, I'm sitting here as a wellness professional, as a clinical social worker. You know, I work with clients. That's not on me, right?
Right.
So
exactly.
that may not make sense to y'all, but it's not on me. I can introduce you to information, heard you. I can mirror back to you. I can, reframe, for you to tell you what I just heard you say. I can share something that I, some dots that I've heard you, that I've connected for you since, we've been connecting. But it's ultimately up to you to do the work. So kind of letting that go, that you're responsible for someone else.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what type of familiar relationship you have or whatever society says you're supposed to do. I can't put you before me. Okay.
Right.
So I might make a strong effort.
That's right.
I might make a strong effort. But once I've made a strong effort, I have to tell myself, well, now I'm upset with you. I'm upset with you, but I'm doing the exact same thing you're doing. And then, so I'm trying to change you, but I really need to kind of look at myself in the mirror and do some things a little bit differently and allow you to just be who you are, because that's just who you are. And that's okay. I'm going to love you anyway, but it doesn't mean I have to be, so close,
Exactly. Now, speaking about that in like relationships and then, having that peaceful state of mind and getting rid of all of the negativity, can you discuss with us, like, when do you feel that it is the importance of knowing when to seek help? Like if you're dealing with a stressful situation, a stressful life situation, because, now with the pandemic, people losing jobs and, money situations, like some people even lost their house and, life situations. When do you think how do you know when to seek help if you are dealing with like certain life situations and stress?
I don't think you should wait. I think that, we all need to be connected to subjective supports. I know we're not at that part of the segment, but that's why I created This Goes Out to You, and just, believing that everyone deserves access to clinically based supports. And I know that there's a stigma connected to psychotherapy, and that people, connect words like crazy or you must have a lot going on in order for you to be connected to therapy. I go to therapy. Like I pour out a lot. I'm just going to say it on live with y'all. I did.
I went to therapy as well, and I don't see nothing wrong with it.
And it's okay, but, clinical wellness coaching services just allows you to be connected with a professional that has the skill set, and it loses a bit of the stigma because you probably won't hear as much to say I'm seeing a coach. But just know you're going to get something very similar that you would have received, connecting with the psychotherapist. It may not be as long term. We may be more focused on your strengths and the goals that you have identified for yourself in this moment. And we'll circle back and develop a coping skills toolbox that authentically and is uniquely designed for you in this moment of your life that grows with you as you grow. But it's very similar. And we all need support. Life is challenging. We're all dealing with stuff. And let me tell you, even as a mental health professional, before I started connecting with psychotherapy on my own, I had the skill set. So I was doing the work myself. I have always done my work myself. I have always pulled myself up and applied that same stuff that I apply to other people. But I had to say, it takes me a little longer to get through my stuff if I'm just doing even as a professional, and I need someone else to give me that time. That's my time. And when you're talking with a friend, she telling you her stuff, you telling her your stuff, we just talking, I need my hour to talk about my stuff, and that's okay. I'm going to get everything that's for me, and I want you to get everything that's for you. I'm getting it all. It's not gonna happen overnight, but I'm gonna get it all.
Right.
Tell y'all.
Now, why we talking about this real quick? Now, you know how when you go see a therapist, when you seeking a therapist online or through your doctor or however you get your therapist, when you go to that person, why does it feel so comfortable to pour your heart out to a stranger, somebody that
I think
don't
that's
know
part of it.
anything about you?
Yep.
Why do you think it's so easy to pour yourself out to a stranger rather than going to your mom or your sister with the situations that you're dealing with?
Well, it's not easy for everybody,
Well, that's
because
true.
it's not. But I think that it's a strength, and you should see it as a strength, and you shouldn't question it if you're connected, because part of that psychotherapy relationship is building a good rapport. And you guys, you have a therapeutic relationship. And so if you feel that comfortable sharing, that's you doing the work, because they're not going to be able to, support you with working through your stuff if they don't know. And so it's just regular conversation. We think we got to tell them X, Y, and Z, or come through them with a specific problem. And it's really just you talking about your day, talking about your week, talking about what happened, those small details. That's where the work is, the small details that people don't tend to pay very much attention to. And you have someone highlight it for you, because they can point out patterns, they can, point out, oh, well, that looks like it's, I see that happening everywhere. This is something that's been, they can point out things that you may not be completely aware to. It might not be in the forefront of your mind.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I can at least say from personal experience, talking to a therapist is it's effective for me, at least because I know that what I tell them is confidential. You can trust your family, you can trust your friends, but at the end of the day, you really don't know what your auntie might tell your cousin, or what your mom might tell your brother or your dad. If you don't want it out, they could still relay that message. Or maybe it's not even with spite. It could be with good intentions, trying to get better advice to see how they could help you. Yes. But when you're telling a therapist, you know that information is considered sacred and it's going to be safe with them.
Yes. And it goes beyond that. Last week, because we're on Sunday, we're in a new week. I had clinical wellness sessions with several clients, and we were just talking, and I had to interject an intervention, because I'm like, okay, they need something more, in this moment. And so I'm going to have to, pull out my tools, because I need them to work through some stuff that they may not really be, in a unique way. So I'm doing a guided meditative session, pulling out my music right away, and it's unique to whatever that one was with a couple. Okay, so we need to hold hands. We gotta be intimate. We gotta work something out here, because just talking is going over y'all heads. For another one, she was having a lot going on. Okay, so we gotta let some of this go, and I can feel that you're holding a lot in. So, I'm going to turn on my meditative music, close your eyes, do whatever you feel comfortable. Your natural breath has so much power. We don't always have to go to a 3 count or whatever, all these we don't have to go to all these different types of breaths. Yes, they are helpful, but right now you might not be ready for all that. So let's just focus on our natural breath, right? And let's go through this, and let me guide you through this, and let me walk you through what I'm feeling for you. I'll be your voice. True. Because we have to release some things, and I need to move you forward. And I want to connect you with a tool that I think will be helpful.
I also feel that since I noticed a trend in college students just being on campus. It's like you always feel like you're alone, but you're not.
Girl.
Some people have a better poker face than others, but you're never really alone. And when I had my freshman year, classes weren't going right. I didn't have grades in some of my classes. I'm failing tests and studying, trying, but not doing the best. So I had realized I had started having like a depressive state. But it took me going to my friend who battles with depressions all the time. Like she's been battling it for years. And I had to sit down and ask her, like, how did you know when you were depressed? And I broke down. It took me reaching that point to realize that I wasn't okay. Mind you, my roommate saw the signs because she had been there before. So I feel that everyone should pay attention to if you're not acting your quote unquote normal self, or if you see some minor changes within yourself, it's okay to talk to someone. You don't have to wait for some drastic event to happen in your life, because you don't want to be too late. Seek help as soon as you can, especially if it's free on campus.
Right. Exactly. And part of it is having more insight and awareness. That's what I hear you saying. Preventative, because as you get to know yourself a little more, you'll know where things set in your body. When a shift changes, or how your body is starting to move. If things are what your triggers are, you'll start to be more hyper aware of those specific things. And it doesn't mean that it won't come. It just means that you can insert a tool or intervention to help to support you to get to a safe space. Because I might need to take a few minutes in the bathroom and splash some water on my face, or count down to 10 or up to 10. I might need to go outside and just sit on the grass real quick and listen to the birds and, practice some mindfulness. I might need to insert a tool in 10 minutes. And I'm really stressed because I just got this grade, or this teacher just really me. And so you can be aware of those things, because I'm moving through. But things are affecting you and you're not even aware that they're affecting you. And so that's why support is helpful, because it'll help you have a better understanding of you, because that's what life is about. We can tell somebody else their stuff. Oh, I can tell you about you now. You need to get it together. But you need to look in the mirror and say some things to yourself.
That's the important part. Awareness. That first thing you say, awareness, self-awareness. Now, really quick, speaking on the whole support thing, earlier you mentioned your organization. This goes out to you.
Yes.
So can you explain that organization and what your organization does and who you're trying to reach?
Yeah, so we provide clinical wellness coaching services through This Goes Out to You. You can go to our Instagram page to connect easily to our website. This Goes Out to You _ we post affirmation. Even if you're not ready to book a session, that's completely okay. We promote affirmations and different type of mindfulness-based practices that you can just put in your toolbox and try when you're ready. And I forgot the other part of your question. What did you say?
Just what?
Oh, adults. Adults.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
children can definitely. I've definitely provided psychotherapy supports, which is not what I'm providing through This Goes Out to You, but I am clinical. So everything is grounded in theoretical practice and mindfulness-based practices. But it's short term, and it's to encourage you to build your own toolbox, to have more insight and awareness of yourself, so you can strive to be your highest self. And if you need a referral, because I believe you need a little bit more than what we're doing here, more long-term, then I will, or if you may need medication management or different types of supports, we'll have those conversations. Ultimately, you're an adult, so you're going to make your own decisions. But I want you to know you're connected with a professional who has the skill set and the resources and tools. But as a reminder, so many people don't seek support because of the stigma. And I don't want that to be you. I don't want that to be you, because the only way for you to strive to be your highest self is to strive to have more insight and awareness of yourself, to be okay and curious about what tools work for you, to be okay with highlighting your strengths and applying those skill sets daily, and to just be open that a tool may not work in the next season, right? And sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because that tool no longer works. We think something is wrong. Nope. It might just be we need another approach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know, like an
definitely.
example, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, but journaling.
It's fine.
You know, journaling, sometimes we think when we think of journaling, we just write. Well, that approach may not work for you anymore. What might work for you in this new season may be, I had a thought, so I'm going to pull out my phone and speak with my memo pad, or I'm going to write in my voice note, or I'm going to speak, I'm going to write it down in my memo pad really fast, or I'm going to be creative about my day. I'm going to write, you know, what happened today. I'm going to add some laughter and humor to it. You know, you may need to approach the 2 affirmations. I may not just need to read the affirmations. I may need to hear them in my own voice, because sometimes it's hard for me to say and affirm things that I don't feel.
Exactly.
So I'm going to put it in my voice note. So when I'm feeling sad, I can play my voice. That's my voice saying those things. And I'm going to keep affirming until I feel it, because that's who I see myself as. It's just I'm in a dark place right now, and it's challenging for me to connect with anything that lady's saying. You know, what's she talking about? She turn on your voice and hear you, because that's you, and that's going to be you. But it's going to take some time, and you have to first affirm that that is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely.
with your expertise, and I know that you said earlier about you have gone to therapy yourself, and you're helping people constantly, day in and day out. Have you ever reached a point where you felt like you were pouring from a glass that was half empty or almost empty? And what did you do at that point?
Well, you know, to be completely honest, I give out a lot daily, like you said. So sometimes, and then after I'm giving out at work, I'm giving out at home, I'm giving out to friends, I'm giving out on social media. I'm just giving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah,
I need to
can
be
attest
honest
to that,
with myself.
Toya.
Huh?
I said I can attest to that, Toya, because you like, I've known Latoya for a long time, and she's just so giving. It's just like, if somebody needs something, you can just go to her. She's always that one person that you can, you know, go to and just, you know, have a conversation. And I just love Latoya for that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I love you too. So just know that that's where the insight comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the part about it that I want, because I think I want to say something else, but my energy's pushing me into another direction. What I want to share is that it doesn't mean that that's not going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that your cup is going to never be empty. It just means that you need to have some awareness about when your cup is really getting low. Mm-hmm. And maybe you need to, I tell my daughter this all the time, break things up into small, manageable pieces. I have to still do all these things. As you say, college, I still have to do all of these things. But you know what? I'm gonna allow myself to take a nap, and then I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna knock out 2 assignments, and then I'm gonna lay back down, or I'm gonna go down to the roof rack, and I'm gonna give me something to eat, something good too, because I know on Wednesdays they have this, and then I'm gonna come back up, maybe get in the shower, and then I'm gonna do this next assignment. You know, so you have to break it up. You have to be okay with creating a structured support that works for you, that speaks to you winning, because life is still going to happen. Right. And just having these tools, that doesn't mean, or insight and awareness, that doesn't mean that the life isn't going to happen or you're always going to be happy. It just means that your approach may shift. You'll allow your approach to shift, because what I need may change. Right. I'm in Florida right now. I'm spending time with my family. I needed that. I am just, I needed that.
This me.
I needed to sit by the lake at my dad's house. I needed him to make some breakfast for me. I needed to hug him. You know, I needed to see my nephew that I haven't seen in a while. I needed those things, you know, and sometimes things just, you know, because last week I was pouring out a whole lot of myself, and I felt empty. But I know I still had to pour into people. I still had things that I had to do. I still had checklists. I still had things I needed to do. But when you're practicing those tools, you'll find that even a higher power just shows up. And sometimes people, you know, you just receive gifts, things that you didn't even know. Now, it doesn't have to be something tangible. It's just like, You know, Zoe wanted her to put the water in the refrigerator. Oh, hallelujah. Thank you. Sorry, y'all. But you know, like, thank you. Thank you. Girl, thank you. You know, so just things show up, and you have to be appreciative of the small things. Again, those details, small details, be appreciative, because if we start to overlook those things, you don't notice the power that's in those small things.
And I can attest to the small things. When I was going through in my freshman year, and I was expressing to my friend, like, I feel like I have to always be smiling and happy. People come to me for, like, not entertainment, but I'm a character. So I felt like when I was being sad, I still had to be that character, because that's what normal Destiny is. And she had told me, like, you could still be Destiny without always being okay. And that small little phrase carried me through that moment, because that's when I realized, like, it's okay. Destiny without being loud and jolly is the same Destiny who has her low points. Yes. And I think some people need to realize that as well.
Yes, that's good, Destiny. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, now a few times throughout the show, we've mentioned the stigma on going to therapy, and I feel like the society makes it seem as though seeking a therapist, oh, you crazy, or you need somebody to talk to you. I ain't trying to see no crazy person. I don't want to see no psychiatrist and stuff like that. So, as a young, what advice would you give to a young person that is afraid to, you know, break that stigma, or that is like, I don't want to go to a therapist because I don't want to be judged. So they tend to hold it all in. So how would you try to break that stigma to a young person? What is it? Gen Zers.
Gen Zers. Hey.
Well, that's loaded, you know, because, you know, I'm a firm believer that there's not, you know, different things work for different people.
That's true.
But I really want people to strive towards, you know, being their highest self. And we're okay with trying new things. You know, most people are okay with trying new things. And so sometimes it has something to do with your perspective. Right?
True.
So you may have to change your wording, like I did clinical wellness coaching. You know what I mean? You might have to change your approach. Exactly. You know, you may have to be okay with people around you not understanding that you may want to seek supports, you know? And so that's just going to be something that you have to sit with. But in order for you to be your highest self, because, you know, we have so many, we're loaded with all the things that happen from childhood, all the things that we've gone through, things that we didn't even know affected us, that's affecting us. You know, that's how we interact with the world, with our experiences. And sometimes the way that we're interacting with the world has nothing to do with who we see ourselves as.
That is true.
So you have to check in. Who I want to be, you know? And if it's not, it's okay. It's not going to change overnight. Don't give up. Keep pushing forward. Just know you are going to still make some mistakes. Forgive yourself. Progress is I always say progress is progress. Progress is progress.
Now, I always tell myself, trust the process. Because you said progress is progress. So in order to progress, you have to trust the process. That's what I tell myself
that's
all the
challenging.
time.
It's so easy said than done.
Yep, that's challenging.
That really is challenging. And like Destiny said, it's easier said than done. But when you going through a situation, and I always look to the higher power. I always look to God, and I always tell myself, you have to trust the process. Everything happens for a reason, and what you're going through right now, it might not be something that you're dealing with a week from today. So if you can just get over the hump of dealing with that situation for that moment and trust the process, because at the end of the day, it's not going to last forever.
And be okay with not understanding. Be okay with what is going on? Be okay with that.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
sometimes the clarity isn't going to come until much later. Right now, you're in a lesson that you may not even know you needed to learn. It's preparing you for
Exactly.
a future experience, and it hurts. It hurts.
That is true. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Destiny.
I do feel that with the stigma as well, people feel that when you go to therapy, it has to be something wrong. And I don't know if that's really the case, because I feel like it should be good to have someone listen to all your accomplishments. Like, if everything's going right, don't you want to gloat about it? It's an experience where you can be a little cocky and not get judged about it, you know?
Yeah.
So
And
how do you feel about
Yeah.
people going to therapy when there's quote unquote nothing wrong?
You know, whatever you need to tell yourself is what you tell yourself, and you don't need anyone else to affirm your decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the thing about us people, women, is that you can be sad and still be the SHIT. Okay.
Period.
So just know that you're compounded. And so we'll have days when I'm struggling, you know, in the beginning of the day, and then at the end of the day, I feel great, you know, or the next day or the next week. Just be okay that there's always going to be something that you could just tell somebody. And again, that subjective support is a conversation. You know, it's talking about what happened today, you know, good, bad, and different. And that's how you begin to be able to have more insight and awareness, and be able to connect some dots, and be able to insert some interventions, and be able to highlight some areas of your life that I didn't even know that was something. Every time I see a blue car, I get sad. I start crying. I'm like, what happened? You know, so you didn't even know that was a trigger for you.
Right.
But you're not going to know until you just start talking. You know, and so whatever you tell yourself to get you in that seat, do it. Do it.
No, I totally agree with that. And then also when you said noticing triggers, like you said, when you talking about something, you don't realize it because it's you internally, and you might not see what somebody else see, or you might not hear yourself talking, and somebody else might hear you talking, and then they might hear something in you. Because let me just get real transparent and personal real quick. It was a time in, I think it was 2016. 2016, I was dealing with the worst financial situation of my adulthood ever in life. I had lost my place, and then I had to end up moving with my aunt and my uncle. Me and my daughter, we had to move with my aunt and my uncle. So during that time, my aunt would always tell me, every day she see me, she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. But then she said she noticed a dark cloud over me. And my sister said she noticed it too, but it's just like, I thought I was stressing and didn't even know it. And then that's when I had an anxiety attack. And I never had that in my life before. But I went to the hospital and I literally thought I was dying. Like, I don't know what's going on, because in my mind, I wasn't stressing. I didn't think I was stressing. Let me say that. I didn't think I was stressing over anything. But around that time frame, that's when I had started a new job. I didn't like the job. It was like stress on me. But I wasn't like, and I'm always just like, oh, I'm not going to let nothing stress me out. But I was stressing and didn't even know. And my aunt had to tell me, like, oh, it's a black cloud over. I've noticed a black cloud over you. And every time she saw me, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Is something wrong?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine. Just throwing it under the rug." So that is when I realized that, going through all that, I realized that I needed to seek help. Like, that's when I saw a therapist. It was in like 2017. I reached out and went to therapy and, worked through some of those things. But it's just,
I'm glad you heard it. I'm glad you received it, because it was challenging for her to say it to you. She probably took a while to say it to you, because she didn't want to push you away. And I'm just talking. I ain't talk to you.
No,
And I'm
it's
just
fine.
feeling from what you said. And then for you to move forward with what was being said to you and to
Yeah.
get some support. That's really what psychotherapy and wellness coaching, clinical wellness coaching is support.
Right.
You know, switching that terminology and perspective. And I'm glad you were able to connect.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it probably took her a long time to really say that, because every time I saw her, even before, you know, I ended up having to move in with her, she was like asking me, "Are you okay?" Like every time. She didn't fully come out and say, "Hey, I see a black cloud over you." She didn't say that until we moved in, and then I was explaining to her and like talking to her, and we had a deep conversation about things that I have been dealing with. So that's when she said, "Yeah, I've noticed a dark cloud," and I'm just like. And me, I didn't know. I'm still going on about my happy life, and well, what I thought was a happy life at that point. So I'm just like, oh, whatever.
Just
and
moving forward. That's
thinking,
what we've been taught, just to move forward.
yeah, and then I'm thinking everything is okay. I'm fine. I don't need to. At that point, I'm like, I don't need to see anybody. I'm just gonna pray to God and talk to Him through it. Now you can talk to God.
I can do both. I can do all the things.
Right. Exactly.
All of the things, so I can be my higher
like,
self. Okay. All right.
Exactly. So I had to really just, you know, take that in and realize that, you know, whole thing.
But I'm glad you shared that story with us, because that could probably inspire so many people that you won't even know, especially with applying it. It takes a lot to notice a problem within yourself, but it takes a lot more to apply it, because that's that extra step is make it or break it. So thank you for sharing.
Definitely. Okay, so the show is actually coming to an end. So Latoya, I wanted to give you an opportunity to share your social media or share ways that people can get in touch with you and join the organization, or, you know, be involved in your organization.
Well, just know that we are on Psychology Today. If you want to look us up, this goes out to you. We are on Therapy for Black Girls, both of those databases. If you want to look us up, you can also check out our Instagram. This goes out to you _ where our website is as well. We take Medicaid as well as self-pay. And we have a Wellness Vibes and Everything in Between segment next Sunday. I hope you guys can tune in into the Instagram live. We have All You Need Naturals coming on, Black owned. We're doing a raffle, $3 raffle. So please come to our Instagram, like, share, and attend and participate. And I can't wait to see you guys there.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your expertise.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
No problem. And really quick, Destiny, do you want to point out at least 2 or 3 takeaways from the conversation for today?
At least it's from my experience and my situation being a college student. So to all the college students out there, and I'm sure other people can take this message as well. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to make mistakes. And it's okay if you don't graduate on time. Your life it's not linear. It's going to be a roundabout. But you will always reach that point of success, and just be patient with yourself and be kind to yourself. I think that's a main takeaway. Be kind to yourself.
Definitely. Okay, great. Now, this has been a great show. And Latoya, I want to thank you for joining us today and giving us your knowledge and expertise in this area of wellness. And I want to thank anybody that is watching today. And like Latoya said, go to her Instagram. This goes out to you as the organization. If you are afraid to take that step, just know that she is, you know, licensed, and anything you talk to, not just her particularly, but any therapist you talk to, just know that everything is confidential. And there are some out here where you don't have to worry about being judged or anything like that. But again, thank you guys for listening and watching us today. You can catch us every 4th Monday, the Young and Bold segment right here on the Elevation Global Media Facebook page. And thank you for watching. Have a nice day.
Bye.